Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we jump into research, articles, notes, basically stacks of info, and pull out the key stuff you need to know fast. Today, we're digging into a really fascinating bit of ancient history. It's drawn from Bahram Chobin, Warrior's Rise and Royal Reckoning. Yeah, our mission today is to sort of unpack the story of Bahram Chobin. He was this legendary warrior, right? His amazing victories actually ended up leading him down this path of rebellion. We'll explore what drove him, the king he went up against, and, the huge stakes in his whole quest for honor and, well, power. Get ready, it's quite a tale. Epic battles, politics, betrayal, it's all in there. Okay, so let's get into it. The story starts Sasanian Empire around 588 CE, specifically in the lands of Ray, strategically important place. And this is where we meet Bahram Chobin. He's described as like tall, lean, piercing eyes, a commanding kind of guy. Comes from a noble family, the House of Miran, and he's governor of Ray, already got his troops drilled to perfection.
Right, and the Miran family. It's worth stressing they weren't just any nobles. They were one of the 7 great houses of Persia. Immense influence.
Ah, okay, so real power players.
Exactly. And Ray itself was a major military and administrative center, so his governorship wasn't just some local post, it gave him a serious power base.
Makes sense. The source paints a picture. Bahram stood like a cypress, his spirit forged in the crucible of battle. Pretty evocative.
It really is. Sets the stage for who this man was.
So his reputation's already solid, skills, successful. Then this massive threat pops up from the east, a huge Turkic-Hephthalite invasion. And we're talking, what, 300,000 troops? That number is just huge.
It's almost unimaginable, frankly, an existential threat to the empire.
So King Hormuz V described as proud, but also, like, insecure. He appoints Bahram as Spab, the army chief for Khorasan, tells him, go deal with this.
And what's really remarkable here, something the source digs into, isn't just the numbers game Bahram was facing, it's also how he used specific Sasanian cavalry tactics.
Oh, interesting. Tactics he'd perfected against nomadic groups.
Precisely. He wasn't just brave, he was a genuine strategic thinker. An innovator, really.
Yeah, because he only had 12,000 men. It's insane.
12,000 against 300,000.
But he comes up with this incredibly daring plan. Leads his small force across the deserts near Yaz to ambush the Kagan at Balkh. The descriptions are intense, arrows flying, shields breaking, and Bahram himself apparently takes down the Kagan's champion in single combat.
A classic heroic duel moment, and it works.
Totally. Forces the invaders into this chaotic retreat. Huge victory. Secures massive amounts of spoils, tribute for the empire.
And it wasn't just a fluke win. It kind of cemented a tactical approach, didn't it? Something that influenced Sasanian military thinking later on.
Great. But this kind of victory? Well, it makes a general legend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, as we're about to see, it also, maybe unintentionally, stirs up trouble with the king.
Yeah, Hormizd. It seems like he couldn't handle Bahram's success.
The source really emphasizes Hormiz's insecurity. It seems Bahram's popularity was problematic for him.
So Bahram returns, expecting honors, parades,
The hero's welcome.
But King Hormizd IV, he's jealous, sends Bahram off to fight the Byzantines instead. And there Bahram actually suffers a defeat, which was unusual for him.
Very uncharacteristic.
And Hormiz's reaction, it's just over the top.
Yeah.
He publicly humiliates Bahram, sends him women's clothing.
Okay, that act, for a Sasanian warrior, you have to understand, that wasn't just an insult. It was designed to completely strip him of his identity, his honor.
He basically said he wasn't fit to be a warrior anymore.
Exactly. It was the ultimate public degradation in that context, a deliberate attempt to just destroy his standing.
And that seems to be the moment everything changes, the absolute turning point.
Definitely.
The source mentions his sister, Gordy. Sounds like she was pretty fierce.
Fierce and loyal, yes.
She confronts him, says something like, brother, your honor demands justice, pushing him to act. And it's then that Bahram makes this huge claim. He says he's descended from the ancient Parthian kings.
Right. And that claim, it's not just a random boast, it's a massive political statement.
How so?
Well, the Sasanians had overthrown the Parthians centuries earlier, but many noble families, like Bahram's Miran house, still valued their Parthian roots. So by invoking that lineage, Bahram's basically suggesting he has a deeper, maybe more legitimate right to rule than Hormizd.
Wow. Okay. That's a direct challenge to the king's whole authority.
It's an ideological attack aimed right at Hormiz's legitimacy. And he does this while rallying his loyal troops, his brother Bistam included.
So the tension just skyrockets. People back in the capital, Ctesiphon, Hormiz's own advisors, are apparently already whispering about rebellion.
The writing was on the wall.
And Bahram makes this vow. I will claim the throne that my blood entitles me to. He's all in.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? When does a personal insult, even a massive one like this, become enough to justify trying to overthrow the whole system?
Yeah. For Bahram, it seems like honor was everything. The king crossed a line he couldn't uncross.
And it shows how instability at the very top, like Hormuz's insecurity, can ripple outwards and shake the entire empire, especially when you have a charismatic figure like Bahram ready to step in.
And who can leverage that kind of historical claim to power, especially if people are already unhappy with the current king?
Precisely. Disillusionment is fertile ground for rebellion.
So his mind's made up. Bahram starts his march towards Ctesiphon, the capital, and his army grows. People start defecting to his side.
Dramatically, yes. They're inspired by his past victories, his reputation. They see him as a winner, maybe a better option than Hormuzd.
The source points out his tactical skill again during this march.
Yeah, it wasn't just about numbers swelling. The accounts suggest he was consistently outmaneuvering Hormuzd's forces. Not always seeking huge battles, but using clever tactics.
Like what?
Things like fast flanking moves, surprise night attacks, crippling supply lines, forcing Hormuz's troops into bad spots, picking them off. It sounds like a masterclass in, strategic disruption.
Very smart. Then comes this really dramatic moment. He seizes the crown jewels.
Hugely symbolic.
And with those jewels, he proclaims himself Bahram VI.
He's not just a rebel general anymore. He's claiming the kingship itself.
And the people, how do they react?
The source says they largely cheered him on. They were tired of Hormuz's rule, saw Bahram as maybe a liberator.
That popular support must have been crucial.
Absolutely crucial. Capturing the symbols, like the jewels, and having the people behind you. That's how you build legitimacy fast in these situations. It's not just about military might. It's about winning hearts and minds, and crucially, taking hold of the symbols of power.
Right. The crown isn't just a hat. It carries real weight.
Immense spiritual and political weight. Bahram was claiming the very essence of kingship.
Okay, so he's done it. He's Bahram VI. But it's not over, is it? Whispers start immediately.
Trouble brewing already.
Hormuz's son, Khosrow Parviz, he's apparently plotting a comeback.
And crucially, the source mentions he's looking for outside help, specifically Byzantine support.
Bringing in foreign powers, that always complicates things.
Always. It raises the stakes enormously.
So the deep dive into this source leaves us with this image. Bahram on his horse, crown on his head, but there's thunder rumbling in the distance. Ominous.
It's a powerful closing image for that section, isn't it? It perfectly captures the situation. He's reached the peak, but the storm is gathering.
Yeah. So, connecting it all, Bahram's success was huge. He took the throne. But this Khosrow Parviz factor, with Byzantine backing that signals the fight, is far from finished.
It's that classic problem, isn't it? Winning power is one thing. Holding on to it, especially when the old dynasty has friends in high places, that's a whole different challenge. A much harder one, often.
So where does this leave us thinking about it now? We've seen Bahram go from this celebrated hero general to a rebel king, driven by justice, by honor, maybe ambition too.
A complex mix of motives for sure.
His rise, as the source says, lit a fire of hope for some, but that shadow of Khosrow, the old dynasty, is right there.
Looming large.
And it leaves you with some big questions, doesn't it? Could Bahram's rebellion actually create something new, a lasting change? Or was it doomed to fail against the weight of tradition and, well, foreign intervention?
History rarely offers easy answers there.
And think about it from his perspective. What would you do if you were Bahram? Would you risk everything, your life, the stability of the empire for your honor, even if it meant seizing the throne itself?
It's an impossible position, really.
It just shows how history is filled with these incredibly tough choices, and the line between being a hero or a rebel or a king, it really depends on who wins, who tells the story, and how those winds of power shift, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's all about power, perception, and circumstance. A potent reminder